Well, not a bad place to play, is it, pal? Was it always going to be Edgbaston when you left Yorkshire?
I think so. I think they were the only club interested, to be honest. I think back in the day, it worked out, you put 28 days in our play and you'll have probably known the rules and regs around it, but, Ashley Giles rang Yorkshire and said, we're quite interested in Will, and, being a naive kid that I was, I thought I was just going to play at Yorkshire for the rest of my time, really, and then you come down here, you get shown around the ground by Ash and Jim, who was head coach at the time, and then you go for food and Belly's captain, and all of a sudden you're quite wowed by what's happening, really. And from there, I think I knew I had to leave. I knew I had to leave Yorkshire to progress my career and just to play, really, for opportunities in all formats. So I guess Warwickshire was the only venue for me.
7 years, is that right?
7 years. It feels like it's been a lot longer, but then in another way, it feels like it's gone so quick as well. I can always remember the first time I came in and I saw yourself, Jeets, Amby, Belly, Barks, Wrighty, a lot of these guys have all left now, but unbelievable just to walk into a dressing room where it's full of internationals and full of guys you've played against who've played hard cricket here, and so we've played here a couple of times against each other and with each other, and to see those guys and how they go about their business was unbelievable. So,
miss it, do you think?
I think you would. I think you look around the place, it's an unbelievable place to play. I think a lot of people, when you're working in an establishment or stadium like this, you can take it a little bit for granted, can't you? But you've got to look round and it's just unbelievable. Whether you're in the changing rooms, the facilities, Colts ground is probably one of the best places to play in the country, in my opinion. So it's going to be very sad to leave, but on to pastures new. But yeah, I can't wait to come back and get those fixtures in November, December, and know that I'm playing at Edgbaston in a couple of formats will be fantastic.
And the guys at home won't know, but it's probably worth mentioning the fish pie. I mean, do you want me to explain? Do you want to explain that, or?
Look, I think we're very blessed out. We're very blessed with the food. Paul, the chef, and Kaz, who serves as two of the great people in the establishment for me. Obviously, being from Hull, I do enjoy my seafood, and being a northerner as well. And Paulie made me a fish pie. He said he'll ferry me some up to Durham and do a first-class delivery with fish pie. So,
yeah. Your favourite lunch here is always fish pie. So when we play you next year, I need to make sure that we know fish pie on the menu and hopefully getting you sweet.
Yeah.
And you'll be in a bad spot and nick off early.
It's hard, isn't it? Because you would say put some average food on, but Paul just can't make average food, can he? So
we're very biased, but I'm convinced we'll have played sort of the food stakes around the country.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? I think everyone looks at the Lord's lunches, don't they? But here is unbelievable.
Yeah, Alton Paul, unbelievable. Well, obviously, made the move down the M1 or M6, depending which way you go. As an hobby batter to start with, but pretty quickly you ended up being captain. So how did that come about, and how did you find it?
Yeah, it was strange, really. I had 2 really good years. I formed a really good partnership with Sibs. We sort of kept ourselves to ourselves, and the contrasting players, I think, certainly helped each other. Obviously he had aspirations to go on and play for England pretty quickly, and I just wanted to play cricket, so that helped. And I think just playing every game sort of progressed me into a bit of a senior player quite quickly. And then Farby called me, and he said he wanted to go for some food, which I thought was pretty weird at the end of the season. I didn't know. I was hoping it was sort of going to be a new contract, as you do. I'd had 2 good years, and he asked me to be captain. This would have probably been in the November or the December, and I had to think about it at first. I was only 24, but by then I'd played 2 full years, so I sort of wanted to throw myself into it. And it's one of those where if you don't do it then, you might never get asked the opportunity to do it. So I sort of jumped into it probably quite blind, really. But yeah, obviously it was a strange start with the COVID pandemic. I wanted to get under. You do all your plans and you think about who's going to be in your first team, and then all of a sudden COVID hits and you sort of push back a few months, really. So it was an interesting time. But yeah, it was something that I couldn't really refuse. Like you say, this place is unbelievable, and you to put your name on the board and see the other names that have won trophies and been captains before you, to see my name is almost quite embarrassing. I think it's Bell, Trott, Patel, Troughton, Knight, and they've all played international cricket, and I'm there as a 24-year-old kid who's still not even been capped yet. It felt a little bit embarrassing to be captain, but it was an unbelievable 4 years and something that I'll never forget.
Well, I mean, first of all, you deserve to be there. We had some great success from the year. But there are a few obvious highlights. What sticks out for you in those 4 years?
I think it's the easy couple, isn't it? I think I always think of the championship win, but I actually put it from the start of the Headingley game to the end of the Bob Willis. I think that 3 weeks is probably my favourite 3 weeks at the club. Just on and off the field. We played some unbelievable cricket, and to win a championship is fantastic, and to win trophies like is really, really special. It doesn't matter what format it is, but it's something that, when I became captain, to win a championship, that was my only goal. And to do it in, I guess, my first full season, I didn't really know where to go from there after there, but it was, a tremendous feeling, and you'll know how you played for the majority of that year. I think you played 8 or 9 games. It was just a feel around the place, and just knew in a lot of games we're going to win. And so going into those last 3 weeks, I was really confident that we could produce 3 more results to win this championship. But I think a lot of other things, Norwell's 9th. I always criticise you for taking the first wicket and for saying you look completely unthreatening at the other end, which I'm sure you won't mind me saying. But I think even that day there, the highs and lows of cricket, we were all on that day, weren't they? And then I guess the other thing is seeing young lads come through. I think Warwickshire has a really rich history of bringing through youngsters, and seeing, I think we both played in Yates' debut in all 3 formats. So to watch Yatesy, make his debut as a real young kid, and now he's a very much established first team cricketer, and what's played now over 100 games and for the first team is tremendous. Obviously Beth just recently played for England. Mouse has got his call up, to bat with Kai Smith in the quarter-final. All those little things, and see youngsters come through has been unbelievable, and I wish them all well, but not too well against Durham in the future.
You've been available for selection for the entire 7 years. I think I'm right. You've not missed a championship game. 7 years of this club. A, how have you managed it?
Yeah.
And then B, how's that feel? You must be pretty shattered.
Oh, look, I don't know what the numbers are. I think it's probably just over 9 to first class game now, which I'm really proud of. It's, but I guess that's not just testament to the work that I've done. It's probably testament to the S&C and medical team. They've given me a few MOTs at times, a lot of rubs, a lot of stretching, probably a lot of hiding things when I was captain as well. And they shoved me out in the park a lot of the time. But playing, that's all I want to do. With someone who, like yourself, who wants to play every single game and make themselves available for selection is something that I've always prided myself on. So
clearly got a lovely relationship with the fans here and the members here. Anything you'd like to say to them, or any sort of memories of your time here at Edgbaston with the members? Yeah,
I think I mentioned it up at, when we spoke to the members. I'd have liked to have at least got 1 run on my last innings, to be fair, but to have that reception, walking on and off after my last innings was something you don't think about, and maybe you maybe take for granted a little bit. But I think over the winter I'll look back on that and go, wow, that's pretty special actually. We always take the mick out of you, don't you, when you go down to Bay 19 and you get a lovely applause every time you get a wicket. But it's, the members do care. They care about your performances. They want you to do well first and foremost. So yeah, it's obviously a massive thank you to everyone really. Members, fans, office staff, support staff, and players. For getting me through. It's been a great 7 years in a period of my life and a period of my career that I'll look back very fondly. I think it's obviously been a time where, I guess like yourself, your career's almost going nowhere, your previous county, so you need to make the move, and it's a big move. It was a big move for me, and it was something that I needed to do, and obviously now I can come back here and hopefully get a nice applause when I come back as an away player.
You are obviously, of course, going to Pasture, going up to Durham. What are the reasons for that? I'm sure everyone watching would be interested, why that's come about.
Right? I think there's a few different reasons, on and off the field. Firstly, on the field, I think, I've still got that urge to play T20 cricket. You want to play, you want to see these games, the Worcester game on a Friday night, to be here and witness that and witness these wins. You want to play, don't you? Ultimately, that you're in this job to entertain and to play. So to be left out of those was disappointing. But then that's testament to the players who were actually playing. They've been a great team to watch. I guess it is, an itch that I still want to scratch. I feel I've still got a bit to give in white ball cricket. Even if I don't play at Durham, I'd rather go and try and play, rather than sort of sit here for the next couple of years and sort of, let my white ball game run out. But it also helps that, you know, my partner is from Northumberland, so to kind of go home, and she's been down here for 5 years now, so she loves it down here. We both love it down here, but unfortunately, it's time to go back. She can be closer to family, and it gives me a new challenge as well.